Hello everyone, and welcome back to your daily government and financial news update. As always, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on everything, so make sure to give this video a like, but also leave a comment giving your thoughts on everything that is currently going on. Okay, so the 4th of July is just 1 week away, which for many means cookouts, good food, and good times with friends and family. This year will come at an extra cost, as according to recent statistics, our July 4th cookout will be up an average of 17% this year, or around $70 when compared to 2021. Whether it's a 2-pound package of beef costing $11.12 more, or a 2-pound package of chicken breast being nearly $9 more, whatever it is, we're going to end up paying significantly more. Which, of course, is all thanks to Biden's inflation crisis, and you have to wonder whether or not the White House will actually create an updated tweet for this year's 4th of July cookout. Last night, our beloved Vice President Kamala Harris was hosted by CNN to answer some important questions about the American economy. Here's Kamala Harris addressing whether or not she's concerned about an upcoming possible recession.
Now, inflation is really high. Are you concerned about a recession? The administration said that they weren't that worried about inflation, and then that changed.
I think that there can be no higher priority than what we have been clear is our highest priority, which is bringing down the costs and the prices as much as we possibly can, and we will stay focused on that.
So we have the good and the bad here. The good is the administration at least has inflation as a top priority. The bad is the concerning fact that this administration is absolutely clueless on how to lower inflation and is basically going to need the Federal Reserve to bail themselves out. When you have an administration that thinks the best way to lower inflation is to simply pump more money into the economy, you know that they're pretty clueless. And at this moment, it's more than likely we're already in a recession, as the definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. In the first quarter, we saw growth down by 1.5%, so it's quite possible that right now we're already in the middle of a recession, as you really never actually know when you're in a recession, of course, until after the numbers are released. So this is all pretty much hindsight. Also during the interview, Kamala Harris was questioned about bringing down the cost of gas. Listen as Harris gives a very deep and clear answer on their plan to bring down the price of gas.
Is there anything else you can do to help bring down the cost of gas?
Well, first of all, let's just say that this is a very real issue, and we have to do something about it, and it's one of our highest priorities as an administration.
During the G7 summit in Germany, President Biden suggested to the other leaders that he planned on demanding Arab nations to produce more oil in order to lower the price of gas. To Biden's surprise, French President Emmanuel Macron had to break the bad news to our president that this plan simply will not work. This is because the UAE and Saudi Arabia are already pumping as much oil as they possibly can, and they're pretty much already at maximum capacity. Watch.
Joe, you predicted it for a while.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt you. With your advisor, I took the commission to call MBZ. So I call for increasing the production by renewables. So I got him, he told me 2 things. One, I'm at the maximum, what he claimed, and he told me this is my complete commitment. Second, he told me, according to us, the Saudis can increase a little bit, but 150 or a little bit more, and they don't have huge capacities at this stage, before 6 months time. The last one, the very last point is about what we do on the Russian oil. He told me that was too much.
Thank you. We got to keep up.
Excuse us. I will make it like that because I will be.
Here, maybe we should just step aside.
Okay. Sorry.
Then we have Biden's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan stepping in to interrupt the conversation, obviously in fear that the two would be overheard, which of course they were, but obviously he was too late. So with this conversation, we can make a few different conclusions. 1. Biden is in fact making efforts to decrease the price of oil by asking other countries to produce more. 2. Most of the top oil countries are already producing at max capacity, so this plan is not going to work. 3. President Biden has no issues in asking other countries to produce more oil and lead a non-green energy policy, but he doesn't want to produce more energy at home. This, of course, is wildly hypocritical that he's demanding Arab nations to produce more oil there at the exact moment that he's considering a total ban on new offshore oil and gas drilling, 6 days after delaying the new onshore oil and gas drilling, and 1 month after completely killing the Alaska oil and gas lease sale. So yes, this is really more insane than it looks. Kill all oil production at home, then demand other nations produce more themselves. Makes total sense. Okay, now moving into some other news, a recent bill introduced in Congress would give Social Security beneficiaries a $2,400 annual raise, while at the same time shoring up the program financially. At the moment, it is expected that the Social Security Trust Fund will run out of money within the next 13 years, so lawmakers, of course, have been hoping to find some type of a solution. Now, in order to fund this bump in Social Security payments, lawmakers would raise taxes on Americans earning more than $250,000 per year. Presently, we only pay Social Security tax on the first $147,000 in earnings each and every year. So essentially, someone who earns $1 million per year would pay the exact same amount in Social Security taxes as someone who earns just $147,000 per year. The person who made $1 million annually, of course, would pay more in federal taxes, but as far as the Social Security tax, again, that does cap off at $147,000, so they would be paying the exact same amount as someone who made just $147,000. Here is Senator Bernie Sanders making his best case on why this cap should be removed.
Today, absurdly and grossly unfairly, there is a cap on income subject to Social Security taxes. That cap is now about $147,000 a year. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you are a multi-billionaire, you pay the same amount of money into Social Security as someone who makes $147,000 a year. Got that? It means that if you make $147,000 a year, you pay 6.2% of your income in Social Security taxes. But if you make 10 times more than that, $1,470,000, you pay 0.6% of your income in Social Security taxes. Now, that may make sense to somebody. It does not make sense to me. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, at a time when billionaires pay an effective tax rate lower than the average working person, at a time when the very richest people in this country are becoming much richer, this legislation demands that the wealthiest people in this country start paying their fair share of taxes.
Now, if the bill does pass, it would keep the program solvent through 2096, at least according to the plan's proponents. Now moving on to some money news, Dow futures for today are up by 0.69%, the S&P 500 is up by 0.67%, and the Nasdaq is also up by 0.67%. Yesterday, the S&P 500 saw its ups and downs, at one point being in the green with minor gains, but ended the day down by 0.30%. The Nasdaq, on the other hand, dipped almost immediately to start the day and never once recovered, down by 0.85%. At the time of filming this video, Bitcoin is still hovering in the low 21,000s, where it's actually been for the last 5 days. So it's definitely been a test of patience for investors in the market, and even though a lot of new investors had their portfolios pretty deep in the red if they started investing pretty recently at least, they have to remember that they're not actually losing any money, at least until they go to sell. So for a lot of new investors, when they see their portfolios going deep into the red, they think they're losing money, they immediately panic sell in hopes of not losing any more money. The problem with that is once you sell, you are losing money, and markets have always had a really strong history of rebounding. We never know when they're going to rebound, so you can't try to time the market, especially if you're invested into index funds that track the S&P 500. Now, you might be invested in stocks. Those stocks may never recover if it's just not a sound company, but you get my point here. So honestly, the best thing any investor can do is set aside so much money every single week or every single month, and no matter what the price is, invest that much into their fund, and over time, they'll see a lot of growth. As you can see by this chart, we've always seen ups and downs, and really the best time to be investing is when the market is in a downturn, as that's really when you're getting the absolute best prices. So with that said, if you're seeing this now and would like to get started investing, or perhaps you've already started investing but would like to receive an additional 6 stocks at absolutely no cost to you, in the comment section below, I will pin a comment with a link where you can gain 6 free stocks from Webull. Now, what you'll need to do in order to get these 6 free stocks is once you click the link, you need to first open an account. Then once you have your account opened, you'll need to make a deposit of at least 1 penny. Of course, you can make more, but you can make it as little as 1 penny to get the 6 free stocks. And additionally, if you activate Webull Crypto and complete at least 1 trade, you'll be able to claim $5 of Bitcoin, or of course, any other cryptocurrency of your choosing. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you enjoyed the content in today's video and you would like to see more like it, I would encourage you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course also ring the notification bell. That way you will be the very first to be notified when I do release future videos. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.